Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. This webinar will be hosted by Karthik KK. Karthik is a test automation specialist. He has over 12 years of experience in exploring new tools and technologies. He's a Udemy trainer and a consultant and the founder of Executeautomation. Hey, Karthik, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Kiran. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Sure,
It was really cool. Yeah.
sure.
So, yeah, I'm pretty
So,
excited to see what we can talk about today.
yeah, I'm excited too. And basically, just so all of the participants know, you can feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and we will address all of the questions at the end of the webinar. Sounds good, Karthik?
Yep. Sounds like a
Cool,
plan.
cool. Let's get started.
Cool. Thank you so much, Kiran. So I'll start because we're already running like 6 minutes late today. Uh, all right. Hi, guys. Thank you very much for joining. As Kiran said, it's really a great thing that we are doing in Test Project. We have, just to add, if you have not seen our videos on Test Project in YouTube, it is already there in YouTube as a course, like a playlist, and also it's available as a course in Udemy. So you can go ahead and learn them. It's available for free. You don't really have to pay anything for that. And one more thing is like Test Project is a community driven framework, so it's basically going to be free, and it's going to remain free, and it has a lot of cool things, never compared to other tools. It is one tool which has got so many different options which not many different tool has got. All right, so today's webinar that we're going to talk about is the switch to web automation, and Selenium begins with Test Project. So the first questions most of the time we always get is, while we start with the automation, is you are a manual test experts who want to start with the test automation, or you are a test automation beginner who wants to start using Selenium. And the leading tool in this area these days is Selenium, which is open source, and also it is available for any web application that you can automate in any browsers. So that we know already, it's kind of very popular. But the problem now is that you don't really post, or you means anybody, not everybody, do post the development skills, or you're not familiar with the Selenium commands. Even though you find in the internet, it's writing like a framework is always a very, very hard thing, because you aren't an Selenium expert to do that, to establish like a test framework. So what is the solution of these problems? Well, then comes the test project itself. So test project, as I said, is a completely free community powered platform that simplifies Selenium and will help you to land softly with the Selenium commands and the test automation. So it's pretty much compared with other tools. We can probably talk about that later. But this tool has got, test project has got so many different options, which really empowers you to do not just like recording from their web, but you can also do so many things. That's what we're going to be discussing in a very high level in today's discussion. So the agenda is going to look something like this. As you can see, we're going to do a quick setup of our test project, and then we're going to create the first ever web automation test in the test project using the platform in the browser. And we can also export the code which we have recorded in test project into our local machine, and we can extend that. And we can also upgrade the existing test automation code to the test project. So like there is a catch in this fourth point, that I'm not going to show you something which I already have as a test project framework, and then I'm going to be showing you like how to upgrade your existing test code. Rather, we're going to use the same code that we are exporting in the point 3, and then we're going to upgrade that code, and we'll see how we can leverage that power. So this is the whole agenda, and this is going to cover a lot of different things. And for sure, you will see like how awesome this project is going to be doing that. So for that, I'm going to flip to my Edge browser, and I will quickly show you the awesomeness of test project. So this is the test project login. So before you go in here, you can see you can go to the testproject.io if you have not already gone, and then you can freely sign up from here. And it is and there are so many cool things in this sign up itself. You can see that you can do sign up here, and there are some plans basically, which you can see that even for the free version of the test project, you can run the test agent, like 5 test agents, and then you can write n number of test cases, and then you can run them. Not like many different platforms do that. Test project offers that. So I'm not really going to go through the sign up experience, because we can quickly jump into the cool things that we can do with it. So the first thing, while you land into the test project, we're just going to begin with it. You can see that there is this button like new test. So you can click that, and you can see there will be a lot of options like mobile, web, and code. So to keep things very, very simple in this webinar, I'm just going to go with the web option. But just that you can see, TestProject also supports mobile automation within this platform itself. So you can automate Android and iOS applications, and you can also write code with C# and Java. And there are many different SDKs coming pretty soon. So you can write in different coding languages as well. And everything runs within TestProject. You can also mix and match different language, and then you can write that. So we have already covered that in the YouTube videos and Udemy courses, so you can watch them from there. So once I select this web, you can see it asks me to create a new project. So basically, I'm going to create a new project real quick, and I'm going to call this as EA demo site. And the demo site that I'm going to be taking today is going to be the Executeautomation demo site. So you have seen my many different videos where I use this site. So I'm going to use this one pretty quickly. I'm not going to give any description in here. And then I'm going to hit next. And the test is going to be like a first demo test. I'm going to hit next. And then you can see it is asking me to add for the new application for testing. So this application, you can see that this is the Executeautomation demo site that I need to give. So I can just give like a demo EA site, and this is the URL that you can pass in. So you can see everything just goes in from the creation of the test itself. And then this is the web application. I'm going to select, and then you can do the recording, and you can do all sort of things. So once you see this sort of recording coming in, it says that your local agent is disconnected, so recording is disabled. So this is where the setup actually comes in. So because you're going to do the recording for the first time, you will not have the agent being installed. So you can go to this particular agent tab in here. So I'm just going to quickly close that. And once you click this particular agent, you can see that it shows you a list of agents that I really have it. And you can also see that there is a version like 0.56.2, which is disconnected. So basically, the agent is currently not running in my machine. So I can directly go to the TestProject agent, which I have already installed. So I'm just going to open that. So it's actually opening in a different window, basically. And you can see that I'm actually running the test in the Chrome Edge browser, which is not even released. And the good thing is TestProject already runs there smoothly. And even it runs the test, even you can do the recordings and stuff with the Edge browser. So even though it is not officially supported by TestProject, it is still running like charm. So you can see that my TestProject agent is currently starting in my machine. So you can see the status coming in. And once there is a new version coming in, it also shows you that there is a new agent available, as you can see in here. So you can update to the new version if you want. So for the demonstration purpose, because we're running short of time, I'm not going to be really installing any new versions in here. I'm just going to close that. And now I can go back again to the home, and I'm going to create a new test and choose web. And the project which I'm going to be choosing is the EA demo site, which we already did. So first demo test. I'm going to hit next. And I'm going to choose the demo EA site. And you can see that these are already been saved within our test project that we just did before getting started with the recording. So now you can see that the record button is enabled here because the agent is currently up and running in my machine. So now I can start doing a record, or I can edit the existing test, or I can create a blank test, and then I can start working with it as well. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to do a record because that's a very, very easy option, because we still have to do other stuffs in here. So you can see the testing is beginning over here. So you can see that it just opens up the Chrome, Edge Chrome browser, and it also says that the Chrome is being controlled by the automation testing software. So now our whole application has been loaded, and you can see that this record and playback button is actually been recording, and also shows you, once you navigate there, it shows is a text box, and it also shows the button and the menu controls and everything. So basically, you can just hover as if like a desktop app within the browser, and it does everything for you. And anytime I do this particular click operation or entry operation, it does everything for you just automatically. Or you can even add some other stuffs that you want, like you can perform certain action, and you can do some validation, like you can add the assertion on the fly, and then you can see what is their attributes, and you can even save the element, like what it's going to do basically automatically for you, but you can do that manually as well. So I'm just going to ignore the fact. I'm just going to do admin, and I'm going to type the password as admin, and I'm just going to do a login. And you can see that all the steps are being recorded while I perform the action there. So I'm just going to select Mr. and just going to say project. And I'm just going to say Hindi, which is available in the text box. So I'm just going to save. And then I'm just going to do a drag and drop. So you can see that even the drag and drop option has been available. So once I just drag in here, just do that. And then even I can drag this item, do that over here. So you can see it's doing things for us. And then I can even go back within the browser. Even the back navigation is being controlled by the recording. And then I can do a logout. So you can see that whole experience that we did over here is just seamless. We can do that. And now I can just, even I don't have to stop that, pause the recording. I can just close it. And it says that you want, you have not saved anything, just want to leave that. I'm just going to leave. And you can see that it is actually saving things for us within our test. So you can see our first demo test that we created just a seconds before is now appearing. So once I click this is exactly the same recording that we did in our test before, just appears in here as well. And you can do a lot of things over here, like you can select the step, and then you can add certain actions. You can perform, instead of click action, if you want to do like a double click action or clear text, you can do all sort of steps in here. I'm really not going to be doing all those things in here, but you can see that we can do a lot of things over here. So I'm just going to close that because we are not going to be doing a record option again, because I guess these are the things which is pretty fine. So I'm just going to do a save and exit. But the next question comes is like, how do we really run this particular test? So for executing this particular test, all we have to do is just go in here. You can see that there is this run button option, and there are many different options as well. So once you click this, you can see you can copy this to a different project. You can move to a folder. You can change the input parameters, and then you can copy the ID. Those things are something that you can use for the Jenkins. And you can also see that there is generate code options. So we'll come to this generated code option in a minute. But as of now, just quickly run this code, and I will show you like how it looks like. Once I select this particular run option, you can see that this latest agent, which is installed in my machine, comes in. And now you have an option to run in different browsers as well. So the one we just recorded was in a Chrome browser. But if I want to run this in a Firefox browser, I can select that. And then you can see that I see my application URL. I can then run it. And you can see it's going to run the test in a different browser for us. So you can see the browser has been appeared. So it's running in the Firefox browser pretty fast. There you go. It logged out as well. So the test has been executed, and we have not did any command to close the browser. That's why the browser is still open. And you can see that it is doing reporting options for you. once the test is fully completed. Yep. And then you can go to and this is the first demo over here. So this is the Firefox browser report coming in. So you can even download this report as a PDF file, and then you can see how it looks like, which is a new feature recently added from TestProject. And you can see, I guess I just closed the browser before the test was actually running. Not sure about that, which is fine. And now let's go to the test again. The next option that I'm going to show is now we have recorded this particular code within the platform, but just that we now have to extend this code. So extending this code is very easy within this particular test itself. You can go to the test and then you can modify the steps as I told you before. You can do the record and play options, and then you can even create a new step manually and all those stuff. But instead of doing that, as the testers nowadays, they prefer writing the code. The very good option available within TestProject is you can generate the code which is being recorded in the TestProject platform. So you can now export the code as a C# code or as a Java code, and you can also choose any browser. And in future, you will have many different language bindings, but as of now, it is supported with these two language bindings. So the C# is actually a .NET Core C# project. So I can select that, and I can choose the browser where I need to run this particular test. So I'm just going to choose Chrome maybe, and then I'm going to hit generate, and you can see that the whole test is going to be exported over here as a zip file. So I can open this, and within this zip file, you can see we have 3 files coming in, which I can copy, and I can just create a new folder here. I'm gonna call this as Test Project Demo. Doesn't matter whatever name that you give. And you can see that these are 3 files coming in. I can then open this whole code in Visual Studio Code, as you can see here. So as I said, this code is actually an Visual and .NET Core code, basically. So you can compile this code in not just in Windows operating system, you can also do this in Mac operating system or any operating system of your choice, maybe Linux operating system as well. So we know that Visual Studio Code really supports .NET Core, and you can see all the bin and object files are automatically created for us because it's been compiled for us, and it is available for us to execute as well. So in order to execute the same code right now within my local machine, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the terminal in here. And now I can just do a .NET run to run this code within my local machine. So what it does is basically the test agent that we have installed within our machine is actually going to run this particular test in the Chrome browser. So now you may be wondering like how this test is actually running within my Chrome browser while I have not installed any one of the drivers and stuff. So basically, while you install the test agent, it automatically install the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver, which is the Gecko driver, and all sort of drivers within itself. So if I can take you to the installation folder of test project quickly. Where is that? Here. So this is the test project agent. So within this agent, you can see that we have an Android SDK installed, and then there is this Appium server running, basically. And you can see there is a C# wrapper for these 2 different language versions, which is 2 and 3. And you can see all the drivers like Chrome driver, Edge, Gecko, IE32, and IE64. And you can see even for iOS, you have all the different images, like all the latest images until 13.1. So once you install TestProject Agent, you'll have everything like a dependency, whatever that we really require for running those tests in mobile or Windows or web, not Windows, basically web. Everything comes in here. So that's why we could able to run the test in any browser. So now if I want to run the same test, let's say instead of in the Chrome browser, let's say I want to run this in a Firefox browser, I can just do like this, and it will just start running that. in the Firefox browser for us. So I can just quickly show you that. While the test is actually running, we know that the test is going to run. I will quickly show you how we can, how the test is actually being compiled and how the test is actually coming in over here. So if I go to the test, you can see that we have a test runner here. This test runner basically actually using what is called as a runner here. It's a runner factory.instance, which creates a connectivity with our token. So basically, I will have my own dev token. So you will have your own dev token once you register within the test project. So you can see that it is already downloaded for me automatically. Initially, this option in C# export was not there. This is a recent feature which is released by test project team. So everything that you require is automatically comes in for you. And then the browser is something that we are supplying. And then the runner actually calls a run method, which actually has the option that you need to pass, which is nothing but the test. So this first demo test is something that we actually recorded during the recording phase, as you can see in here. So basically, it has a driver and it has a reporter. So this driver is basically the test project's on scrapped version of the test web driver, which is nothing but the Selenium web driver. And you can see that this code comes in. And now if you closely look at this code is pretty familiar code, right? Because you can see that this is the same web driver, just that it is calling the test project wrapper, just the platform. And then you can see that navigate to URL and the click method and type text. And you can also see that there is this reporter dot, I mean, you just ignore about the reporter dot step, but just that you can see that you can still use the by dot name, and you can identify using XPath or ID and things of that nature. So these are pretty much exactly like Selenium. So if you just scroll up all the way, you can see that we are using the openqa.selenium library as well. So not just test projects SDK's library, but also the Selenium's own library. And that's the reason you can see that any testers who have a little knowledge on the Selenium background can easily adapt those changes or migrate directly to test project without much hassle, because test project platform just provides pretty much exactly like how you do in the real case, right? And that's the reason that the code is actually looking pretty much exactly like how you do. And there are some other technical details I can quickly run through because we're running short of time there. You can see that I have just passed the default, we have just passed the default value as a login.html file for this particular Executeautomation website. You can change that if you want. And if you want to execute a different URL, you can do that. And there are some other options like parameter direction as input. And this is the parameter input direction that you saw while you were executing the test. It was asking for the URL for you in the web UI. That's exactly coming because it has this direction parameter. So which means you now have an option to pass your own parameters as an runtime value to execute your code. So let's say if you want to execute the test with some certain timeouts, or if you want to pass some parameters during the test execution outside of your test cases, you can do that using this parameter attributes. It's pretty much like how we do in the coding practices like console and things of that nature. All right, so now everything is done in here. You can also extend this code with the .NET, which is nothing but the NUnit code. So I have not really made a lot of changes in the code. I'm just going to show the code which I have already recorded, just modified a little bit. As you can see, we have this test fixture attribute where you can then pass the different kinds of browser in here, like Edge, Chrome, and Firefox. And then you can run all the tests in 3 different browsers, not same time, but like sequentially. So you can choose this and you can run them. And you can see that this is the same exact code you can run in 3 different browsers, and you can make sure that your test actually runs even in 3 different browsers within your local machine. So next question comes is like, how do I do the same option in the test project as well? So we can see that as well pretty quickly. So you can see it's running in my Chrome browser right now. So basically, I cannot skip this particular stuff because it's currently running. But in the meantime, while it is running this test for us, you can see it got passed and it is running in the Edge browser for us. The next option we can do is, let's assume that we have exported this code and we're going to modify this particular code that we have exported. So you can see within our test project website, let's say I'm going to go in here because the Chrome browser is actually closed. So I'm going to go to the reporting and I'm going to go to the EA demo site, first demo test. So this is the test in here. And if you see all the steps coming in, you can see within each and every steps, you get a message and you get an element like what it is actually doing and stuff. But there is no screenshot available over here. The reason being, we have not told to take a screenshot for each and every steps basically. So you can go to the recorded steps and then you can enable that option over there within the test itself. But unfortunately, in order to do each and everything within the UI, there is a very easy option. But let's say that you have already exported the code, but you want to add that screenshot option. So that's what the extension that we're going to do in this particular test. I'm basically going to go to the first demo test.cs file in here. And you can see for the report.step in here, just coming from the reporter helper of the test project SDK, instead of failure, I'm just going to say success. So take me the screenshot, even if it is a success. So I'm just going to do this change. So next time while we upload this particular test within our test project platform, it is going to basically take screenshot for each and every step instead of just the failure step. So maybe this is enough. I don't really have to take for all of them. I'm just going to save this. And I'm just going to close this. I probably need to compile this. So what if I do .NET? I guess it's compile, or I'm not sure. Oops, it's not compile. I just do a .NET run. Anyways, it is going to compile for me. Yeah. And I'm just going to stop this. And now if I go to the bin folder, you can see that I actually get the DLL files, which is nothing but the test project generator test of EA demo site.dll files. So this is something that I really require to upload it. So I'm just going to reveal this in Explorer. And you can see that this DLL file actually comes in under .NET Core App 2.1 folder of the bin. So now I'm going to export this particular DLL file within our test project platform so that we can run the same test and we'll see how the report actually has the screenshot in it. So I'm going to go over here. And you can see for exporting this particular code, you can click the new test. And now comes this particular code option into play. So now this time, instead of choosing the web option, I'm just going to choose the code. I'm going to hit next. And then it tells you just upload the jar, DLL, or zip file. In Java, you can upload the jar file. But since we are working with the C#, I'm just going to choose the DLL file in here. So, oops. I'm just going to go this way, copy the path, and I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to upload this particular DLL file. There you go. And once it is uploaded, the package also, it also shows you that this is the class name that you're going to be uploading, and also shows the input parameter. This is nothing but the application URL. As I said, you can also create different parameters and you can pass the input parameters during that time. So I'm just going to say the package name, pretty relevant maybe, instead of just giving some name. So EA demo site. Just going to give that. And the web application, which I'm going to select, is nothing but the demo EA site, which we already have within our test project. I'm going to hit next. And then I'm going to hit start testing. And then you can see that it's going to appear basically. And you can see that the box, it says that it's a test package. So it is not the like the browser, the globe it is actually showing, it's actually the browser package. And once you click that particular package, it will show you the first demo test that you just created. So this is something that we actually have written the code within our machine. And now this time I'm just going to run this particular test, and it will again ask me which agent I should choose. So it knows that I have a latest agent installed in my machine, so I can choose that. And then I can choose the browser. So let's say this time I'm going to override the browser to Chrome, because our test actually has Firefox in it, as you can see in here. But now I'm going to run that in the Chrome. You can see that the Chrome browser has been opened while I run the test. And it runs the test pretty much like how it was expecting, which is cool. So you can see that we recorded the test, and we exported the test, we modified the test, and then we have also uploaded the same modified test within our test project. And then you can see that it brings exactly the same experience like how you do within your own code during the execution. So while this is running, I'm going to go over here and let's this test to complete fully. All right, it's taking some time. Let's go to the report in the meantime. It's not ready yet. There you go. And now you can see there is the report icon coming in. And then once I click this report icon here, it shows me the test report. It shows that it is actually running within the Chrome browser. So once I click that, it shows me all the steps coming in. So this time, if I click this particular step, you can see it brings me up the screenshot basically. So it shows me all the screenshot which I really have taken during my test execution. So we modified this particular code within our local machine, and that's the reason you can see all the screenshots are basically coming in. So you can again download the report if you want, but the report doesn't really have the details like how the screenshot is being taken or something like that. But this is going to give you very high level details. Sorry, so it shows you the screenshots as well. Sorry about that, but it shows you just the failure screenshot over here, not all the failures or all the pass and stuff. So this is how you can generate the report, and you can see how you can modify the steps in things of nature. So now we have covered almost like a full overflow of how the code is going to be executing and how you can modify the code and stuff within your test project. The last option, which I'm going to show real quick, is how we can run in a different browser, because we executed the test within the N unit for different browser, but we have not really executed the same test within our platform here. So in order for doing that, there are two options. One, you can do the same option within the coded test, which is nothing but the test that you have written in here within your machine. You can call what is called as a test project's API. So I'm not really going to be covering the test project API in this webinar because that's going to be a little bit advanced. You can run multiple different tests within multiple different test agents in many different machines same time using the test project's API, which is pretty cool. You can do that. You can run in Mac, Windows, and Linux operating system at the same time based on your test agent's installation. Rather, if you want to run all the tests sequentially within this local machine, even in a scheduled manner or during the on-demand test, you can do what is called as jobs. So you can create a job. So I'm going to call this as a parallel test job. And I'm going to hit next. And this job basically will let you to do many different options. Like it will tell you like how you can run the test in a different browser environment, or it will tell you how you can run the test in the scheduled manner, So all these options, you can basically do that within this particular jobs. So you can also run the job for a mobile or for the web. So I'm just going to choose the web, and I'm going to choose the agent here, just the latest agent. And you can see I can choose the browsers here like Chrome, Firefox. Let's not choose the Edge. It may be error prone. Just going to create it. So the job is created right now. So you can schedule the job as you can see in here, but I'm not really going to be scheduling the job or something like that. So you can see once I select this job, it is currently empty. So now this job is empty and we need to add a test in here. So that's what we're going to be doing basically. So we are going to just drag and drop our test within this particular job. Over here. And now this job has been added with a test. And now I can run this particular job. So once I do that, it basically going to spawn 2 different browsers same time. So you can see that the Chrome browser has been launched. And it's running the test for us. So again, you can see that this test is currently running in sequential manner. As I said before, if you want to run this test in a parallel execution option, you can do that as well using what is called as the TestProject's API. There you go. It's executing. All good. And during this execution is actually happening, you can also go to the job monitor over here. You can see that it actually shows you that the status of this particular job is currently executing. So it's currently executing the Firefox test as well. And if you go here to the parallel test job, it takes you directly to the execution which is currently happening. Or even you can go to the reports and you can go to the demo site and it will show you the report in here as well. So those things you can see, and you can see that it's in the job monitor. You also see this particular first demo site, which is currently being executing. So these are things that you can do as a parallel test execution within jobs within this particular test site. So that's it, guys. This is, I guess, has a very high level overview within TestProject, but you can still do a lot of different options apart from what we can do. Something like we can create our own add-ons for writing them. Like we can create our own piece of code. We can also add that particular add-on within this particular code, and then you can add it as an actions and step. Those are pretty awesome features. A lot of community contributions are happening on that area. Many people are writing their own add-ons and adding it, even for two-factor authentications or image recognition. So many different add-ons are sitting in there within here. And you can also add different data sources if you want to write, and then you can parameterize it. Even you can do the elements finding or refactoring of the elements that you have within the particular test code. So all these element maintenance that you can see, whatever is being recorded, can be managed in one single place as well. So these are some different options that we have not discussed in this particular webinar because of the time concern. So probably, I guess this ends whatever the overview of TestProject is all about, and how you can move your existing code from Selenium to TestProject. I guess that's it from my side. Kiran, I guess
Thank
it's
you.
open for the community for the questions.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kartik, for this great webinar.
Thank you, Karthik.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we're
you.
ready for your questions, guys. So feel free to write them in the chat. And let's get started. We have here Karthik to answer questions, and also Eldar from TestProject to answer questions and myself. So we're excited to hear your questions. You can also unmute yourself if you'd like to ask it, not in the chat. Feel free to ask anything.
So Prasad has a question like how we can configure this with any CI tool. So yes, Prasad, actually TestProject has option of the integration with any CI tool. So you can use the TestProject's API, as I said before, to configure it with Jenkins and or not just Jenkins. You can do it many different CI tool, and then you can execute this code.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a built-in Jenkins integration, but if you're using any other CI/CD tool, you could easily integrate with it via our API Swagger. So great question.
Yep. Any thoughts on the Sauce Lab integration? So I'm going to leave this to Elder or Kiran for that.
Yeah, well, that's also a very good question. And the answer is yes. We are actually currently working on a Sauce Labs integration, which will be released by the end of the year. So new year coming around, we have a lot of exciting new features for you guys, and a Sauce Labs integration is definitely one of them.
Awesome. And there's one more question, like how to extend the storage. What do you mean by storage, Venkatesh? Sorry for that. I don't really get it. So you mean the storage of the test project that you are creating in here, or what do you exactly mean in here?
Basically, until Venkatesh answers exactly. Oh, yeah, storage of TestProject. Well, basically, the only things in TestProject that take up storage are data sources that you upload in case you create data-driven testing, your applications, the screenshots, and coded tests you upload to TestProject. Other than that, nothing else takes up your storage. And we give a lot of storage for you, but in case you do feel you need more, you can always reach out to us and we will help you out with that.
So just to add, like how team in TestProject can really help you out. So there is this chat option in here where you can directly reach to Kiran or all the members within TestProject straight away, like a new conversation. You can hit it and you can see all these people directly comes in and they can start responding to you, which is pretty awesome. And you can also upload any files like error files or log files straight into this particular chat window, which is going to help you up.
Yeah, where the entire customer success team is always there to help you guys. So we answer there immediately.
So there is one more question from Nihal. So only the failure test screenshot is added in the report, in the PDF report. So what about the past test cases on the report? I guess the report, the steps you can see with all the screenshots, but when it comes to the report, it is majorly targeting the failure.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, exactly, Karthik. Basically, the reports PDF is for you to see all of the failure steps. That's why we include in it the screenshots of only the failure failed steps. If you want to see screenshots for all of the test steps as you showed them that they could do, you simply go into the reports dashboard.
All right, so there is one more question from Vaibhav that why does this report shows the test case result is failed? So basically what's happening is during my recording phase, it should have clicked the logout button, but I did not really click the logout button. Rather, I just clicked the back during the click operation. So yeah, that's the reason it is showing you the failure there, which is not even, which I have really hijacked during the recording process. Hope it answers the questions, Vaibhav. And can we integrate with Apply tools? So again, Kiran and Elder.
Yeah, well, this we still don't have any built-in integrations for that, but we are definitely considering this as a future option. And as I said, we have a lot of exciting new features and integrations coming up this new year. So you should definitely stay tuned to see what's coming. But it's a great question.
Great. Yep. So in the support of community, from the community, because I'm also one of the user of TestProject, I just want to ask a question to you, Kiran and Elder. Like,
Sure.
when is the Windows application automation coming? Because there are some other tools in the market who are recently starting to support that. So is there any plans on that from TestProject?
Well, that's a very good question. Indeed, their TestProject currently supports web, Android, iOS, and API testing. We do not support desktop applications. And it might be something we will consider doing in the future, but maybe Eldar, if you'd like to elaborate here. But basically, currently we are focusing TestProject for web apps, Android apps, iOS apps, and API testing.
Cool. Thank you so much, Kiran. So there is a question like, can we set a customized geolocations for the mobile app using TestProject? I basically know a little bit about that because I have not really did a lot of customization on the exported code. But yes, I guess you can do that, because that's when the coder test comes into picture. So basically, you can do or customize that, and if not, you can use the add-ons or maybe the custom codes that you can export from what you have written within your own machine, and then you can export that as a plugin, like a custom add-on, and then you can extend that as a step so that you can set the geolocation customizations and all those stuff within your test code while you execute that within your app.
Exactly, and yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yep, go ahead. I could see that Kiran already have an utility shown as an add-on.
Yeah, we actually have an add-on for that.
Cool.
So you could check it out.
Thank you so much for that, Kiran. Thank you so much, Neil, for this question. And Venkatesh have another question like, do we have support for the mobile web application automation? So for sure, we have not really shown anything on the demo side of the application in the course in the YouTube as well as in Udemy, but the question is going to go directly to Kiran and Elder on that.
Well, yeah, the answer to this question is yes. Actually, if you'd like, Karthik, you could show it to them if you have maybe in one of your other project mobile tests, then you could easily see how you can execute a mobile, a web app on your mobile
Mobile,
device.
yeah, as a browser, yes,
You actually
within
have
the mobile emulator.
exactly. if you want, you can show it to them. If not, you can always contact us and we could help you out with that. But the answer to that question is indeed yes.
Cool. Thank you so much, Kiran.
Yeah.
So Nihal, she has a question here. Is like, can parallel execution is possible? So as I said before, parallel execution is 100% is possible using the APIs of TestProject. So you can go here to the developer options. You can see there is something called as APIs. So once you click this API, there is this API documentation. So you can do a lot of different options from TestProject. This is very, very powerful feature. TestProject has released it. Currently it's in V2. And it does many different options for you, like you can set different agents, you can execute that, and then you can run the test on the fly. We have not released any videos, but there are some documentations already available within the TestProject docs. But yes, this is surely an area which we are going to release some videos on that, so that you can see how it actually works. Yes, for the question, Nihal, it is possible.
Yeah, and thank you, Karthik. And actually, we will also share with everyone here um, a piece of code that will actually help you execute the jobs on different agents in parallel. So it's basically a code snippet that wraps these functions for you. And as Karthik showed you, you could also do that through the UI, basically by setting up your jobs to run on different agents and do that parallelly as well. And of course, by the end of the year, once we have the integration with Sauce Labs, parallel execution will also be available through there. So yeah.
Yeah, just to add what Kiran said, thank you for that, Kiran. Like as of now today, while we saw in the webinar, I just executed with one jobs, so it was running two browser on the same in a sequential manner. So if we set many different jobs for many different browsers, like one browser for each jobs, and then we can set to a different machine, and then once we execute that, all this test is going to run at the same time. If you schedule it on the same time, and then if you run that, it is going to run in different agents, basically, as a job, instead of like one job running three different browsers. So that's how we can make the parallel execution. But as Kiran said, in later this year, you should be seeing, or maybe new year, you should be seeing this Sauce Lab integration to run in parallel at the same time using the TestProject's API.
Yeah.
Cool. And thanks for that, Nihal, the question. And there is one more question from Prasad, that can we integrate the email reporting through UI or any other way? Can we integrate the email reporting?
Yeah.
Yep.
If we go back, Karthik, to your project,
Yes.
and in the job section, we have this tiny
Yes.
envelope icon there. Yeah, exactly.
This one.
Exactly. So this enables you to set your email notifications. You could either do them on the start of the job or only on finish. And
you can also select the webhooks for doing it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and we also have an integration with Slack, so you could send directly the summary of the reports to your Slack channel. So yeah, definitely a lot of email reporting through UI options there.
Yep. So because I got confused a little bit, like is that a report is just the PDF report that Prasad is looking for? If not, that's yes, you can get the email notification and the reports once the test actually starts in the job. Yes.
Yeah, if I hope that answers Prasad's question.
Cool. Thanks for that. There is one more question from Venkatesh on regarding iOS app testing. Is there a way to bypass or skip adding Apple account? And I don't think so. For sure, Apple will not accept that, Venkatesh. For sure, you need to provision that with an perfect Apple's developer account, and you should get the provisioning keys, and then you should set that the provisioning profile within TestProject. If not, for sure, TestProject has no control over that.
Yeah, that's our requirement by Apple. It's not something that we can control. But yeah, once you do that, the cool thing about TestProject is that you can even execute iOS on Windows. So not only using a Mac. So yeah, once you get that Apple developer account provisioning set up, you're good to go.
Yes. Cool. So we have another question from Prasad. Do we have anything like explicit weight? We have many different weights, Prasad. Within our test code, you can wait for an element to be loaded, and the element is visible, and all those weight, pretty much like how you do see in the Selenium. All those weights are available. You can even, as within the code, as you saw that we were writing before in the demonstration, you can use the same Selenium's weight, or you can use the platform's weight option, and you can do exactly the same thing with the steps as well. So you can do a lot of different weight options. So even if you have written some weight within your own code, you can create like an add-on, or and then you can just add it within your code. That should work as well. Yeah, I guess we have many different interesting questions today, apart from what we have discussed about. But these are some of the common questions which community will have to answer. Yes.
Yeah, very great questions. Anyone else wants to ask something? We're here for you guys.
Can we have a DB validation? So Prasad, is the DB validation is something like you're going to do a database validation directly from TestProject, you mean? As far as I know, or as far as my understanding is concerned, if you want to do a DB validation, for sure it is something you need to have a connectivity with the database within the code, and then you're going to do that validation within the code, and then you're going to see how it actually works. TestProject doesn't really record any of those things. As I said before, you can do that with your own custom coding to establish the connections and stuff, and then you can do that. But just correct me if I'm wrong, Kiran and Elder, like how we can extend that even further while we run that on the platform, like how the connectivity is maintained and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. Actually, if you go here to our add-ons library, which you could also access through the actual platform of TestProject once you sign in, basically you can see the list of all of the add-ons we have. And we do have actually a few add-ons for querying databases. Yeah, so you could all simply go to the search at the top right database. Exactly, and you see we have a few options here that allow you to connect to various databases and send queries. And if you are interested in a different one, then we could definitely help you out with that and even help you develop an add-on for that. If that answers what you were looking for.
I guess yeah, so this is like, I guess, Prasad, you can see that it actually support MS SQL and many different database sources. So if any of the data source is not something that is available here, something like MongoDB or something like that, so probably you can either request to the team to do that, or if you already have all those options in there, you can just follow the add-on practices of TestProject, and then you can upload that, and even you can contribute to the community to gain popularity on your add-on being installed among community.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really cool thing. A lot of people from the community are sharing their own add-ons that they developed, and sharing their knowledge and experience with the entire community. So it's a great thing. You can see these ones were shared by a community member as well.
Yep.
And of course we can. Yep.
Yep. Sorry, let's go ahead.
Yeah, and of course, as you mentioned before, Karthik, anyone can click on the orange button at the bottom right and just ask us for help. And if there's something missing or you want us to help you develop an add-on or develop one for you, you're always free to request, to send us your requests.
Yep. So for creating the add-ons, we have extensive videos and articles in YouTube as well as in Udemy. So you can go ahead and watch there. Venkatesh, it's already there for Java and in C#. So you can go ahead and see how you can develop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. I guess it's getting late now, and I guess people are starting to leave as well.
Okay. Well,
So do we have any other final questions? Like something pretty important, guys? Just feel free to ask.
yeah, let's wait a few more moments to see if anyone has any further questions.
Okay, there you go. Venkatesh is already done. He said bye. Cool. Awesome.
Right.
So I guess
Well,
that's it then. Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And thank you very much, Karthik, for hosting this wonderful webinar. And we'll see you all at the next one.
Cool. Thank you so much. See you guys. Bye-bye.
See you guys.